That's right. Time to talk about the politics of labor, how Democrats and Republicans will be putting the spin on the jobs number. For that, we have two congressmen. Robert Andrews is a member of the Budget Committee. Scott Garrett, a longtime friend of Squawk, ranking member of the Capital Markets Subcommittee. Gentlemen, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Congressman Garrett, what is the political fallout from a number like today?
Well, I mean, everyone wants to be optimistic about these numbers and think that we're trying to get out of this doldrums that we're in and spin into some better times. But I think your last segment just really pointed out the true picture of the fact is that the long-term unemployment numbers continue to tick up, and the reports all out there is some of the other macro numbers are showing that, sure, there'll be a good feeling for a short period of time during the first and second quarter, but we're going to see at the second half of this year the numbers go back in the relative range where we were before.
How are Democrats going to respond to that, Congressman Andrews?
Well, we're going to respond by saying that's not the case. The economy lost 750,000 jobs in March of 2009, and it gained 162,000 jobs in March of this year. That's the right direction to be headed in. Now listen, there's a whole lot more work to do. And whomever said a couple minutes ago that there's a crisis for the long-term unemployed is right. Part of the answer was the education bill the president signed on Tuesday that puts a lot more resources into community colleges and higher education so people that are locked in that long-term unemployment can get new skills and get better jobs. That's something that we enacted. I think it's going to help.
Do you think, Congressman Andrews, I wonder if you think the party regrets ever putting that 8% target on unemployment? Because that's the thing they're going to hang over your heads as we go into November.
Oh, I do regret it. I think 8% is far too high. And we're at work every day to try to make the unemployment level as low as we can possibly make it. Again, the economy was in a position where a year ago it lost 750,000 jobs in March. This March it gained 162,000. That's the right direction. We've got a lot more work to do, but that's the right direction.
All right, Representative Garrett, you just heard what Representative Andrews said in terms of addressing the problem of these sort of permanently unemployed people. What about your party? What is the GOP looking to do to solve that problem?
Yeah. Well, one of the things that we need to do in order to solve that problem and the overall economic problem is to provide more certainty in the marketplace. One of the reasons employers are not employing people, one of the reasons businesses aren't expanding, one of the reasons people don't want to make investments is because there's just so much uncertainty out of this administration. Whether it's on the health care, how many businesses sat on the sidelines saying, what in the world are we going to do until some definition comes out on that, definition comes out on that. Now they see it and they're making the decisions that they've seen. They have to write off hundreds of billions of dollars because of those decisions of health care. On the financial market side, look, we see the action in the House and the Senate as far as financial service reform. First administration comes out with one proposal, then they come out with another proposal. There's so much uncertainty there that businesses are not going to do what you and I and everyone Americans want them to do, is create jobs. Good. Not as long as there's uncertainty as far as financial regulatory reform, uncertainty as far as taxation, and the like.
Could we inject just a little bit of data into this conversation? I mean,
okay, here's some data for you. Back in the beginning of last year, Secretary Geithner said they were going to come out with financial service reform. Week after week after week, he did it. He never got a final report. We came out with one, or Obama came out with one in the spring of last year, and then they flipped on that, as you know, at the end of the year, and again at the beginning of this year when they came out with a different proposal.
Here's some data.
And their Representative Andrews is the data, and your administration continues to give us faltering projections on the economy and a plan that flips each month.
First of all, Scott, I thought it was our administration, our country. I think we all have the same president, but you know,
it's not a plan that I support. I'll tell you that.
Well, he's our president. I think we should understand that we've heard this uncertainty argument for a very, very long time now. The Dow Jones Industrial Average was at 6,400 when you guys started making this argument. It's almost 11,000 today. As far as the uncertainty of health care, what's happened to the market since the president signed the health care bill? If there was all this uncertainty, wouldn't investors be voting with their feet and driving those averages down? Hasn't the opposite happened?
Well, you're going to see price inflation and credit as the market responds as they have. There's basically, as the report came out the other day, just too much money searching of too many or too few credit opportunities. That was what created the last bubble. That's going to create this next bubble, and that's why you're seeing the increases in the stock market right now.
But if there was all this gloom and doom for American employers, why have their stock prices gone up since the president signed the health care bill? Why is that?
The prices went up for the reason I just said, and for the reason reasons. That
Okay.
PIMCO just came out with a report the other day. I mean, you can discount what I'm saying. Maybe you can't discount what all the folks on the street are saying. They're going to say that there is optimism right now because you see this inflation in the credit markets right now, or as far as price inflation. But what you're going to see is this is going to tail off at the end of the year. Sure, you're going to see higher numbers right now relative to last year, but in absolute terms, those numbers are going to be lower than.
But Scott,
we want them to be.
but Scott, you guys said when the recovery bill passed that it wouldn't work, and it's added all these. Well, Mark Zandi, who is the principal economist for the McCain campaign, disagrees with you. He says the stimulus has worked as it should have. That's contributed to ending the recession. You all said that we'd continue to lose jobs throughout this year. We're now gaining jobs. You were wrong then. Why should we think you're going to be wrong in the next, right rather, in the next couple months?
Well, I guess goes back to the first question that was posed to you as to this administration's proposals or suggestion that we're going to be able to keep inflation under 8%, and they were wrong on that. And if you looked at any of the charts, it's to say where we...
When did they say inflation is under 8%? I mean, I think you're talking about unemployment?
I'm talking about unemployment, thanks.
But that's a problem for way down the road, we think.
But you also said that jobs were going to keep going down, and you were wrong about that. Where the economy's... Now, you sound like you're sort of rooting for the economy to lose jobs. I hope that's not true.
I'm sorry.
We think it's going to gain jobs as the years goes on.
Yeah, I don't know that any of us ever said that the unemployment was going to just continue on up. Is that what you're suggesting we said? No.
Sure you did.
No, we said that where it was at that time, under 8%, it was going to go up from that period of time. We were right. We said that it wasn't going to be leveling off by the end of last year. Essentially, we were right there. It is now leveling off.
And you said the health care bill would kill all these jobs. What's happened since the president signed the health care bill?
I don't know. Speaker Pelosi said we just created 400,000 new jobs. I haven't seen them, except if you're talking about the 16,000 new jobs over the IRS.
Has the market gone up or down since the president signed the health care bill?
What I think is fascinating is that this is going to continue all the way into November, just circling around these data points that we're going to get every month. Congressman, I wish we did have more time, but we're running short. It's good to see both of you.
You can't do another 30 minutes of overtime bonus round today?
No! Don't tempt us.
Bonus coverage.
Congressman Andrews.
Scott, have a nice holiday. Ladies and gentlemen, have a nice holiday.
Appreciate it. Have a good Easter.
Okay, up next, a final check on today's trading action in the bond market, nearly 1 hour after the release of the employment report. And as we head out to a break, take a look at the dollar. Yeah, currencies, you can see the dollar's been stronger today. This is off its highest levels of the morning, but still up by better than 0.5%, 81.24. Squawk Box will be right back.